Imagine a warrior standing in an open field. He is clad in heavy iron. Chainmail weighs down his shoulders. A shield of oak and steel is strapped to his arm. A sword, sharpened to a razor's edge, is gripped white-knuckled in his hand. He is strong. He is disciplined. He has spent a lifetime mastering the blade. He is ready to kill. But he is blindfolded. He can hear the enemy moving in the tall grass. He can feel the vibration of charging horses in the soles of his boots. He can smell the burning pitch of the siege engines drifting on the wind, but he cannot see. So what does he do? He swings blindly into the dark. He slashes at the wind. He raises his shield against sounds rather than strikes. He exhausts his strength hacking at shadows that aren't even there. And eventually, he takes an arrow from an archer standing 50 yards away. An archer he could have easily blocked if he had only known where to raise his shield. This warrior is you. I know you are fighting for your life right now. You are fighting for your kingdom. You are fighting for your legacy. You are fighting for your bloodline. You wake up before the sun to grind the steel. You are reading the maps. You are doing everything the world tells you to do to win the war. And yet, you are losing ground. You feel surrounded. You feel the spears pressing in on all sides. Anxiety pierces your armor, and fear whispers in your ear every time you try to rest. Why? Is it because your sword isn't sharp enough? No. Is it because you aren't strong enough? No. It is because you are fighting a spiritual war with physical steel, and that is a fight you will lose every single time. Most of you are walking through life completely blind to the reality of the battlefield. You look at your treasury draining, and you think it's an economic problem. You look at the conflict in your home, and you think it's a relational problem. You look at the darkness in your mind, and you think it's a mental problem. But for the warrior of Zion, those are not the root cause. Those are symptoms. You are trying to parry a demon with a physical blade. You are trying to block a spiritual arrow with a wooden shield. You are running yourself into the ground, trying to outwork a strategy that was designed in hell to destroy you. You are soft, not physically. Physically, you might be a brute. You might be able to carry the weight of the world on your back. But spiritually, you are unarmored. You are a peasant walking through a melee, wondering why you keep getting cut. You panic the moment the wall is breached because you trust your eyes. You trust the visible horizon. You trust the report. You trust the bank account. And because you trust the visible world, you are a slave to it. There is a story in the ancient archives of Israel that perfectly diagnoses your condition. It is the story of a general and a private, a man with sight and a man who was blind. The prophet Elisha was a high-value target. The king of Syria wanted his head on a pike because Elisha knew the king's battle plans before the king even marched. Elisha was living in the spirit, so he had intel on the natural. So the king sends an army, a legion, horses, chariots, heavy infantry, and they come by night. Think about that night. While Elisha and his servant were sleeping, the enemy was moving. While the city was quiet, the darkness was filling with steel. The servant slept soundly, unaware that the perimeter had already been breached, unaware that the valley was filling up with death. This is how the enemy operates. He moves in the dark. He surrounds you while you are unaware. He sets the trap while you are distracted. When morning comes, the servant wakes up early. He walks out to the ramparts to breathe the morning air. He expects to see the sunrise. He expects to see the open fields. Instead, his blood runs cold. Everywhere he looks, steel, chariots of iron, spears glinting in the morning sun like a forest of death. Thousands of soldiers, all facing him, all ready to breach the wall. The silence of the morning is broken by the sound of his own heart hammering against his ribs. He is trapped. There is no way out. The odds are impossible. Panic grips his throat. He runs back to Elisha, screaming, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" Look at the servant. This is you. This is you when the lawsuit hits. This is you when the doctor calls. This is you when the resources dry up. What shall we do? We are dead. The siege is too heavy. Now look at Elisha. He wakes up. He hears the panic in the servant's voice. But he doesn't run to the wall. He doesn't start packing his gear. He doesn't check the defenses. He is completely, terrifyingly calm. Why? Is he mad? Is he in denial? Does he not care that there is an army outside ready to burn the city to the ground? No, Elisha isn't in denial. Elisha just sees something the servant doesn't. Listen to the strategy in 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 16 and 17. So he answered, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." And Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see." Then the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Did you catch that? The situation didn't change. The Syrian army didn't disappear. The swords were still sharp. The danger was still real. But the reality changed. Before the prayer, the servant saw slaughter. After the prayer, the servant saw a victory. Before the prayer, he felt outnumbered. After the prayer, he realized the enemy was the one who was surrounded. The chariots of fire were there the whole time. They didn't arrive when Elisha prayed. They were already there, standing guard, ready to charge, filling the mountains with holy fire. The servant just couldn't see them because he was only using his physical eyes. But here is the hard question no one asks. Why was the servant blind? Why could Elisha see the fire, while the servant could only see the fear? I will tell you why. Because vision is expensive, and blindness is the cost of compromise. You didn't wake up blind one day by accident. You lost your sight in inches. You lost it in small surrenders. The story of Samson in Judges 16 warns us of this. Samson was the strongest warrior of his generation. He was a one-man army. He ripped gates off of cities. He defeated legions with the jawbone of a donkey. No one could stand against him. But his downfall didn't come in battle. It didn't come from a stronger warrior. It came in the secrets he kept. He started testing the edges, playing with boundaries, flirting with compromise. A woman here, a lie there, a secret kept, a vow bent. Small things, private things, things no one saw, until they saw everything. Samson thought his strength was in his muscles. He thought he was invincible because of his talent. He was wrong. His strength was in his consecration. It was in his covenant with God. When he finally surrendered his secret to Delilah, he didn't just lose his hair. He lost his sight. The Philistines captured him, and the first thing they did was gouge out his eyes. Why? Because the spiritual reality always manifests in the physical. He had been spiritually blind for years, blind to the danger of his own lust, blind to the drift in his own heart, blind to the fact that the Spirit of the Lord had already left him. And look at where he ended up. Blind, bound in brass chains, grinding at the mill in the prison house. The warrior became a slave. The man who was born to deliver Israel was now walking in circles, doing the work of an animal, in total darkness. This is the terrifying cost of blindness. You end up grinding. working harder than ever, but going nowhere, walking in circles, bound by habits you can't break, enslaved by the very enemies you were born to defeat. This is you. You wonder why you can't see the chariots of fire. You wonder why all you see is siege and debt and fear. It's because of the small surrenders. The thought you let linger, the boundary you inched back, the conviction you quieted, the standard you lowered, just this once. It feels like nothing, like it doesn't matter. But the invisible war doesn't need big moments. It needs small surrenders. Every time you compromise in the dark, you put a blindfold on your spirit. Every time you choose comfort over conviction, you dim your spiritual eyes. And now the army is at the gate. Now the crisis is here, and you are reaching for a sword you can't see to fight an enemy you can't locate. But there is a way back. If you want to survive the battles of leadership, if you want to endure the siege, you must train your second sight. You must rip the blindfold off. You must stop being the servant trembling on the ramparts and become Elisha, standing calm in the fire. But before we get to the protocols, you must understand the environment. You must understand the fog of war. The enemy knows he cannot defeat you in a fair fight, so he attacks your clarity. He creates noise. He creates confusion. He floods your life with distractions until you can't tell the difference between a friend and a foe. This is the fog. It is the emails that never stop, the notifications that never sleep, the urgency of the immediate drowning out the importance of the eternal. The fog is designed to make you reactive. A reactive warrior is a dead warrior. If you are reacting to every email, every crisis, every emotional wave, you are flailing in the fog. You are swinging at shadows. To see the chariots, you must clear the fog. You must stabilize. You must learn to stand still while everything around you is spinning. I have 3 protocols for you. 3 drills to clear the fog, rip off the blindfold, and shift you from blindness to sight. Protocol 1. Sensory deprivation. The reason you cannot see the spiritual is because you are addicted to the physical. You are overstimulated. Your physical eyes are so dilated, so overwhelmed with input, that your spiritual eyes have shut down. You are blinded by the lights of the world. To see the chariots of fire, you have to dim the lights of Dothan. You need to disconnect. I'm not talking about a vacation. I'm talking about tactical silence. No phone, no input, no strategy, no noise, just you and God in the dark. It will be uncomfortable. Your mind will race. Your anxiety will scream. That is the detox. That is your spiritual eyes trying to dilate in the darkness. You have to starve your fear of the visible so you can feed your faith in the invisible. Protocol 2. The ratio of victory. Elisha said, "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." This is the math of the kingdom. In the natural, the math never works. You have fewer soldiers. You have less gold. You have less time. In the natural, you are always the underdog. But look at Gideon in Judges chapter 7. He started with 32,000 men. God said, "Too many." He stripped him down to 10,000. God said, "Still too many." He stripped him down to 300. 300 men against an army of 135,000 Midianites. The natural math said suicide. The kingdom math said victory. Why? Because one man plus God is always a majority. When you train for the invisible war, you stop counting swords and start counting spirits. I have the spirit of the living God inside me. That's a fortress. I have the promises of a God who cannot lie. That's a shield. I have the authority to bind and loose. That's a broadsword. When you stack those up against a bad report, the report looks small. When you stack those up against the sickness looks weak. The ratio is always in your favor, but you have to believe the math before you see the result. Protocol 3. The weapon called worship. This is the ultimate protocol. There is a battle where swords don't work, where strategy doesn't matter, where physical strength is irrelevant. A battle where the only weapon that works is the one no one thinks to use: worship. In 2 Chronicles chapter 20, King Jehoshaphat was surrounded. 3 armies, Moab, Ammon, and Mount Seir. They were closing in. There was no escape. The odds were impossible. Jehoshaphat didn't panic. He didn't form a committee. He fell on his face. And God gave him an instruction that made no military sense. You will not need to fight in this battle. Position yourselves, stand still, and see the salvation of the Lord. So the king did the unthinkable. He positioned worshipers at the front of the army, not warriors. Worshipers, not spears, songs. Can you imagine the scene? The enemy sees a line of men walking toward them, unarmed, singing at the top of their lungs. Praise the Lord, for his mercy endures forever. And as they sang, the atmosphere shifted. Confusion struck the enemy camp. The armies turned on each other. They destroyed themselves. Judah didn't lift a sword. They didn't fire a single arrow. They just worshiped. And worship dismantled what warfare couldn't. This is the weapon the enemy fears most. Not your strength, not your hustle, not your anger, your worship. Because worship does something force cannot. Worship shifts the atmosphere. Worship invites presence. Worship reminds you who is really in control. You can't beat anxiety with logic. You beat it with worship that declares peace. You can't beat fear with courage. You beat it with worship that declares trust. Worship isn't passive. Worship is warfare. So here is your command. You are entering a season where the strength of your arm will not be enough. Your skill with the blade will not save you. Your allies will not save you. The enemy is escalating the war. He is coming for your mind. He is coming for your peace. He is coming with invisible chariots of fear to lay siege to your soul. If you stay blind, you will be overrun. You will panic. You will fall. You will be found grinding at the mill of your own compromise. But if you open your eyes, if you stop the small surrenders, if you clear the fog, if you dare to lift a song of worship in the face of the enemy, you will see that you are not alone on the rampart. You will see that the mountains are ablaze with fire. You will see that the God of angel armies has already deployed his forces to your location. So get up, wipe the sleep from your eyes. Stop looking at the spears. Look at the hills. The help isn't coming. The help is already here. Open your eyes, warrior. Stand still and see the victory that has already been won. If this message sharpened your spirit, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video to signal your alignment. Share it with a fellow warrior who needs to see the truth. Subscribe to the channel to join the ranks. And in the comments below, declare your victory. Write, "My eyes are open." Let the enemy know you are no longer blind.